Okay, what's up guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. I made this video and somehow I actually deleted it, which is amazing. This is going to be part, I believe, 3, or video number 3 of my top favorite countries in the world. Now, if this for some reason is the wrong video and I screw it up again, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it again. I sat for a couple hours the other day video and everything and talking about stuff, and then I screwed it up and kind of like deleted a few, and that's exciting. So it is a country that I did not think that was going to be amazing at all. I'm probably going to cut this short at like 10 minutes because the other one was 15 or 20 minutes, and I need to get doing some other stuff. So the country that I'm going to talk about right now, everybody literally on the planet was warning me. I need to take my vitamins. Was warning me not to go there. It's not a good idea. There's nothing to see there. It's dangerous. This and that. And I was like, whatever. Believe it or not, I actually, when I went to this country, I wanted to go to um, Cambodia. That was the one I was most interested in. Damn vitamins. I got so many damn vitamins that I take now. It's just hilarious because I used to be the anti-vitamin person. Cambodia was the original idea as far as like one of the most interesting things. Funny enough, I spent so much time in the country that I'm about to talk about, I never actually got to go to Cambodia. It was the only country that I skipped on this trip, and it was due to having a little bit too much fun in Vietnam. That's the country, Vietnam. So, funny enough, I don't exactly remember how the whole story went, but I was somewhere on the Mekong River. It sounds like a movie or something, right? I was somewhere on the Mekong River, and I think there was like a night bus going from Thailand, like northern Thailand, to Vietnam, and then in Vietnam, we got on the Mekong River on the border of China and Vietnam, and then went down, stayed at this little island place in the middle of freaking nowhere overnight, and got drunk, and there was like a random bowling alley. It was a really strange situation. There was a random bowling alley in the middle of the jungle. It was so crazy. And you were able to buy like full bottles of liquor. It was a really intensely different type of experience. Anyway, fast forward, we keep going on the road down to, or on the slow boat down to, I believe it was Hanoi, is where it started. And I had met some people on the bus, and then also talked to them on the train or on the slow boat. And it's funny enough because one of the people I met, well, there's a few people, but one of the people specifically I met on the slow boat is actually somebody that I've talked to recently, which is kind of cool. It's kind of interesting when like traveling just kind of peaks you up with somebody you never knew or whatever. Anyway, she's a really cool person, and a lot of these people that I met along the way are really, really cool people. So when we got to Hanoi, I wasn't really talking to anybody, but I'm not sure how we got to speaking. I'm sure we exchanged Facebooks. I'm the weird guy that's like, hey, what's your Facebook? Add my Facebook group. It's called World Travelers or whatever. I'm always doing that stuff. Trying to get us to be able to talk and chat with more travelers. So fast forward, somehow I meet up with these two French people, and these French Canadians and two French people. So after we meet, that they were saying, I was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" or something like that, and they were like, "Well, oh no, that's what it was. They didn't have a place like booked yet, or something like that." So I found them a spot at my place, and they liked it, or something like that, I think is what it was. And they were like, "Yeah, we want to rent some motorcycles and go on this thing called the Golden Triangle." I had no clue what the hell it was called or what it was or anything like that. I had heard people like rented motorcycles and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything about it. 100% nothing about it. The guys that the Frenches and the French Canadians or whatever, they were significantly like, I guess they were in like their mid 20s or something like that. A lot less life experience. And I'm not saying that in like a bad way. They were the most amazing travel buddies ever. We had so much fun. I couldn't have picked a better group of people to travel with. It's just like I was, 10, 15 years older than some of them. So they were like, yeah, we want to go buy some motorcycles. So we went over and test drove these motorcycles and stuff like that. And I'm like, so now I'm starting to get interested. I'm like, well, maybe, I'm thinking about possibly doing this or whatever. And I hadn't like totally seeded in yet, but I think they were going to like double up on these motorcycles or something, like, meaning like they were going to go from Hanoi all the way through northern Vietnam, basically in the freaking sticks for like a week or two or something like that on these motorcycles. We went and test drove these motorcycles. They were pieces of shit. Like, these were absolute pieces of shit. Like, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you're going to pay $1,000 for this or $1,500 for these or whatever, and you're going to end up freaking stranded. Like, that's not a good idea. Like, you're whiter than I am. You're like snow-capped white. And you don't want to get lost in like the middle of, the jungle or something like that. People don't, speak your language or whatever. Not that the Vietnamese are mean people or whatever, but that's just in a country you're not familiar with. You don't want to be in a bad spot or whatever and broke down. So I said, you know what? Let's take a little bit of time and think about this. I found a place. Well, we all found a place that you could rent motorcycles from. So we went over there and checked them out, and I was like, dude, yeah, maybe initially you're going to spend a little more money. So, but you're paying for peace of mind. You weren't going to pay more than what you would, but you're hoping that in a land full of motorcycles, mopeds, scooters, and stuff like that, that you're going to get a lot of your money back when you get to your destination by selling this. First of all, you don't live there. You don't know anything about selling something back to somebody that has a billion other ones available. The resale value pretty sure is not that high. So renting one in one city in Hanoi and then going all the way around to whatever city it was really far away. Whatever city it was that we ended in, and then drop it off is kind of like a U-Haul. It was really smart, and they were brand freaking new. So we ended up doing that. I think it was like 200 and something bucks for like 7 days, and then I ended up paying like $30 extra a day or something like that because we ended up keeping them pretty long. So, long story short, we go out, we dip out to Vietnam, and we are on this road, and we're all packed up. We got helmets, we got all this crap with us or whatever. Probably packed way too heavy, by the way. You should see I'll try to post some pictures in this thread. By the way, if you're new here, check us out on Facebook. Our group is called World Travelers. It's interesting. Go there and check out, maybe ask me to post, and I'll post some pictures of the actual bike that I was riding. It was pretty cool. It's like old Honda versions, like dirt bike versions or whatever, street enduro type things. Anyway, we take off and we're going to Sapa, Vietnam. No clue where it is. Google sucks and it doesn't give a shit about GPS in Vietnam. This is where I found out about offline mode. Apparently, like if you download while you're on Wi-Fi that area, your phone will work Wi-Fi way better. Anyway, Google offline mode. Check that out if you're going in the middle of nowhere. So we take off to Sapa. It's supposed to be like 4 or 5 hours or something like that. 10 hours later, we don't find nothing. We pass. We're starting to get sleepy and like swerving and stuff like that. I'm not a good night driver. I'll be the first one to tell you I get really tired really fast. I thought instead of us flying off the side of a freaking jungle cliff somewhere, probably a good idea that we randomly find a spot and pass out. We pass out, go to the next place, and the next morning, we all wake up. We get to Sapa, Vietnam. A few hours later, we get there, and it says, like some ladies are hitting us up about like some homestay or something like that. I'm agitated because I'm like, well, we had a hotel to stay at. Now we're in like a day late. We don't have a hotel. The only thing that matters right now is you guys and us getting to that damn hotel and pleading for them to let us stay instead of last night today because we're late. They did. Okay? I convinced them to be able to let us hold our things, hold our spot. It was absolutely beautiful. Like, if I had to explain it, it was like a castle overseeing like these rice paddies and stuff like that. It was so beautiful. There was like these big patios and stuff like this with uh like um like cast iron spiral staircase like surrounds and stuff. Very majestic, like um kind of like almost Tuscan feel or something like that. It was very, very pretty. And I think it was only like 20 bucks a night or something like that. And it really totally included free breakfast and everything. It was amazing. It was really amazing. We all had breakfast together that morning, and like everybody was crazy, and one of the people's hair was messed up, and we got pictures of it. It was just epic. It was epic fun. Anyway, fast forward, we go through the thing, and we were talking. They were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I don't care, whatever. You know, I'm more relaxed now. I'm in the spot. I'm in the zone, and we're got our spot or whatever." And they're like, "Well, that lady texts us about this homestay," and I'm like, "What the? Why does this lady comes back and hits you up again?" Like, I don't know what that means. Homestay. What does that mean? She's like, "Well, we go down into the valley." And they're like pointing down, and I'm like, "You want us to go down there like 10 miles away into somebody's like valley house or something like that, down in the bottom of a freaking thing in northern Vietnam where we're the only freaking American looking people for miles?" I thought that was a horrible idea. It was like $32 for all of us. All the foods included, alcohol, everything, bedding, sleeping, lodging. And I'm like, okay, this is a horrible idea. Where do we sign up? So we ended up doing it. And if I can find their freaking Facebook or something like that, if they have a Facebook or any kind of advertising, or if you go to Sapa Vietnam, ask for Mama and Papa Zoo. I think it's like TZU or ZU or something like that. They were the best house guests in the world. First, they took us to this random, like, ratchet looking house, no, like, floor or anything like that. Made me super nervous. I was like, you know what? I don't want to stay here. I can go pay the 20 bucks and go stay back up there. Anyway, that was like a holding place. I think they were like cleaning their actual house. So we went to the new house or whatever, and that was absolutely nice. It was, I mean, it wasn't nearly as nice as the hotel, but as far as like the views and everything, it was overseeing all the rice paddies and stuff. It was absolutely gorgeous. Everybody started cooking dinner. I sat on my ass because that's what I do when people are cooking dinner. No, I'm just kidding. But I didn't help. Everybody else did. um, but we have dinner. I think I ate like 500,000 spring rolls that night. I literally did not know what the hell a spring roll was before that, and I probably will never taste one as good as that again. I'm pretty sure uh, the alcohol that we drank that night was called, well, I know what it was called. They called it happy water. Basically, it was in old 20-ounce water bottles, like plastic water bottles, reused. They were like dirty and nasty. And it was basically like rice alcohol, and we got fudged up, and it was awesome. Like, it was so much fun. We were laughing and taking shots, and Mama Zoo was clowning on her husband because about some titty thing or something. I don't know what the hell she was talking about or whatever, and it was so much fun. We had a blast. We woke up the next day, had a pretty epic hike on the way back. Oh, by the way, when we started the hike, I saw the world's biggest weed farm that I've ever seen in my life, and nobody else noticed it, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "You guys look," and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And she's like, "Yeah, that's what we sell to all the Americans when they come up here." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't smoke weed, so I guess that didn't matter." But so we keep going. We go all the way down, go all the way back, or whatever, and then we were kind of cruising around. Vietnam was very interesting because it was like, if you've ever been to Arizona, you know how you got the Grand Canyon and it's just like dirt and rocks. Everything on these motorcycles that we were going around was like, the Grand Canyon was like the view and stuff like that. You have to check out my videos of that. Just search Vietnam or Asia or whatever and stuff like that, and you'll see my videos and the views. They're just epic. It's like Grand Canyon, but it's green and like with beautiful blue lagoons and everything. It was just so freaking majestically beautiful. Like, I never anticipated. It's such an underrated country. Like, it was ridiculously pretty. The people were amazing. Like, we were going through this place. We ended up like right on the border of like middle of freaking nowhere, and then we saw that these signs and stuff like that. We had no clue. Everything was in like different characters and different stuff, and there's no way we could understand anything. So we just asked people, "Hey, can we stay the night? We'll pay you money or whatever." Like, we would just pay like people like a couple bucks, and they'd let us stay the night and like give us breakfast and stuff, and then we take off, go to the next place. It was really crazy, like almost like some like stuff that you would think of like from 40, 50 years ago in like a movie or something like that. And we ended up saying we got to the last spot. It was I kept going ahead of everybody because I wanted to find good places to stay. I was like the guy that was finding good hotels and stuff like that. So I went ahead in this one town. I don't remember what it was. I remember going to a gym there that was ridiculously creepy, and I like backed out of the door because it was creeped me out so bad. I don't know what the hell was going on in there, but it really freaked me out. For some reason, the juju was tripping me out. Anyway, we saw we got to this place or whatever, and they showed up, maybe a half a day later than I was. So I was already like ready and ramping to go and stuff. And I think they were gonna leave like later on that night, but I woke up in the morning and I was like, screw that. I left before anybody woke up, and I dipped out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it to Cat Ba, which is like basically How Long Bay, and it was pretty damn far. It was gonna take like 2 or 3 days of riding, like 4 to 6 hours a day or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I started looking at it on the map. I'm like, screw that. I could do it in a day. Like, I could do it in one day. I take off right away. I got lost right away. Right away. And I bought this whole bushel of like bananas and just like hung it from my handlebars. And I was eating them, and then I'd pull over and shit. And then I was eating more, and I would pull over and shit. Like, those bananas had me on point. Anyway, the dude charged me like $50 too much for these damn things. He knew I was hungry. He could tell I was hungry, and there was no stores or anything. It's not like it's in the middle of nowhere. So I bought them. Anyway, I think I paid like $15 for a bushel of things, which here that would be respectable, but even over there it was just ridiculously overpriced. But I basically bought them off some dude walking down the street, so I had to see that coming. But fast forward, I got straightened out on this road or whatever, and I got to where I was going about 80, 90 miles an hour for about 16 hours straight. My knuckles were so white because I had gripped it so long. I drove all through the night. At night, there's giant lit up semis with these ridiculously obnoxious horns that are like, and it's like, it is crazy on the freeways in Vietnam at night. It is insane. I got ran off the road like 4 times. It was just crazy. They were like, I was so lucky. Finally, at like midnight, I got there. I pulled in, and I was like, yes, I made it. I was like, it was like the most insane feeling I'd felt. And I don't see good at night. So I'm like peeled eyes the whole time, like just going. It was tough, okay? Having to stop by myself in different places and stuff like that. I don't even know where I'm at. It was really, really crazy. It was almost like a third of like just a different dimension. It was really insane. So I get there, and my idea was I was trying to get there as fast as I could to find a place because I don't like finding a place last minute, and it was a weird area, so I didn't want to book something and then like it be whack. I wanted to see it first. Anyway, I got there, found a place, booked it. It was like $9 a night or something like that, and I got a really good deal on it. It was super sweet. And that weekend was like a day or two later was going to be the weekend, and apparently it was like super packed there in Cat Ba. So the area, like from locals and stuff like that, was flooded with people. There was no vacancies after this and stuff like that. And then my travel mates showed up like 2 days later as it's swamped. Like there's no vacancies. They found like one shithole place that wanted to charge them like $50 a night per person. And literally, they got like a fan. It was just like a shithole place. And that's exactly why I wanted to make sure that I got there as soon as I could, because I figured, you know what? Something's just telling me to go. And I got there, and they ended up getting like just junk places or whatever. And that was the end of it. We went. I found like this tour where we go on this boat, and they took us like jellyfish canoe riding and stuff like that in like this secret cove, and we got on this big giant boat and went all around the islands and stuff, and they took us to like this private beach, and we were doing like backflips off the top of like the 2-story boat and stuff like that. It was by far one of the most adventurous places I had ever been. Not compared to Switzerland was the most serene, but it was only like tiny little snippet of time. I think we spent like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that up in the northern area. We spent a lot of time, and it was a good chunk. Actually, we stayed there so long. I was supposed to be going to Vietnam or Cambodia, and I skipped it because of this, because we were having fun together. But in all honesty, it was kind of like sad. I was like sad to see them go. Like they had become, you know, people that we kind of got to know each other. It was really cool. So Vietnam, definitely underrated country. I would say go there. Just go there. Like, obviously, use your wits about you. I probably would not travel. I'm probably lucky to be alive after that northern trip, after I kept going out on my own, going out on my own, and going out on my own. I would not recommend doing that by yourself. I would go with a group of people, and I would stay together. That's what I would do. But some of the views were just so beautiful. Like, it made you feel like you just weren't in the same world. It was really cool. So I hope you liked our video. Please check us out on Facebook. Our group is called World Travelers. Also on Instagram at One Big Impact. And I went 22 minutes. I apologize for that. I hope you liked the little story that I told. It was a lot of fun. And hopefully in the near future, I'll have more stories to tell. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching.